What is going on, you guys? I wanted to do a video today about how to build your Rebel Commandos units. Since they've been out for a little while, I actually get a lot of questions about this. Which builds do you prefer? Do you prefer the snipers over the saboteurs? Do you prefer the snipers in the strike team, the saboteurs in the strike team, etc.? So I just kind of want to talk about this whole unit in different ways that you can kind of outfit them. So the Rebel Commandos unit, or the expansion, gives you 2 units in one box, which is great. And I think it's important to mention that because not only are you getting enough miniatures for 2 units, you're also getting 2 unit cards and 2 Special Forces tokens. So you're getting everything you need to run 2 versions of this unit. However, you can't run 2 sniper units or 2 saboteur units. So one of your units would have to be sniper or saboteur and the other one would not. So that being said, it's great value for sure, but the question really lies where do we run them? So let's talk about the unit card itself. I'm going to talk about the strike teams and the differences between those, and then we're going to talk about the actual heavy weapons, because one of the ways to run them, and the first way that I'm going to talk about, is just the base Rebel Commandos unit. So first off, the Rebel Commandos are 60 points. So this is a little bit more expensive than your Rebel Troopers. Your Rebel Troopers are only 40 points. You're spending 20 extra points. However, it's not a core unit, so it's not taking away from one of your cores. So if you wanted to run 6 Rebel Troopers and completely max out there, you could then also run 3 Rebel Commandos units at 60 points each. And then would be just basic units, and you'd have a whole lot of black dice troopers that can shoot up to range 3. Which is good. But this unit for 20 more points gives you a couple extra things. First off, they also have an extra surge. All right, so your Rebel Troopers only have defensive surge. These guys have offensive and defensive surge to hit and armor. So that's a great thing right there that your regular Rebel Troopers don't have. So that makes them a little bit more deadly. Additionally, they also have Sharpshooter 1, which makes them additionally a little more deadly. Sharpshooter 1 is going to reduce the defender's cover. They have Scout 2, which gives them extra movement and is great for objective play, and just kind of, if you have to put them right in your opponent's faces, you're getting a lot there. But also low profile, which is nice. If you have light cover, you increase your cover by 1. Now, the easiest way to have light cover, and the most common way to have light cover, is by having a suppression token, increases your cover by 1, right? So it brings you up from no cover to light cover, and then low profile basically turns suppression into heavy cover, which actually works well because they have a training upgrade and they come with duck and cover. So duck and cover actually turns into a really, really good upgrade for these commandos, because they can just be like, anytime, boom, have heavy cover, just like that, which is nice. So it's a good solid unit. Plus they have courage value of 2. Courage value of 2 means they can have a suppression and still, not lose an action. And it takes 4 to potentially make them panic, which actually makes them a pretty good candidate to be nominated to be a replacement commander if your commander gets killed. So that's something else to think about. So it's a good unit. They don't have the personnel upgrade slot though, so you can't increase them beyond 4 minis without going heavy weapons. So you can't put as many into this as you could otherwise. But that's not the end of the world. It's just worth noting. Now the strike team is going to be exactly the same with just a couple of differences. First off, the strike team has miniature unit count of only 1. So you're only getting 1 miniature there. It also has heavy weapons team on there. And it's only 16 points. So really, really cheap, but you're only going to have like 2 miniatures. So heavy weapons team means you have to use the heavy weapons upgrade, which then again, those are expensive. So it's going to bring you up to over 40 points for a strike team of only 2 units, or only 2 miniatures. But this is a great way. I mean, granted, with 60 points, the heavy weapons are over 20 also, so you're going to be over 80 points that way. So when you look at that, this isn't as bad. This is just a great way to get a specialized unit onto the field for a lot cheaper, with also having some risk because it's only going to be a unit of only 2 miniatures. So 1 good shot and you're dead. So which one is the way to go for for strike teams specifically, and then which ones work better with commandos. So let's take a look at both of the heavy weapons that are going to come here. So our DH-447 sniper has infinite range, right? You're going to roll a black and white die, so you're getting 2 dice, infinite range, which is nice. You've also got Pierce 1 on this, and High Velocity. And High Velocity means that if it's the only one shooting at this particular target, and it's the only weapon in your attack pool, or if every weapon has High Velocity, which there is no other weapon for the Rebels that has this. So basically, if you're just firing this weapon, they can't spend dodge tokens, which is nice. Additionally, this sniper is going to be on a Rebel Commandos, so they're also going to have Sharpshooter 1 and Surge to Hit. So if you look at all of this, they can't spend dodge tokens. You're reducing their cover by 1. So even if they're in heavy cover, the best they're going to get is light cover. You get 2 dice already. Surge to Hit, so you have a better chance. Those 2 dice are better. Even the white die with Surge to Hit is not that bad. Plus, Pierce 1. Not only that, if you drop the sniper in a strike team, it's like you can, usually that means you're deploying them somewhere, maybe using scout to kind of have them in a corner of the map, and that's a place where they're probably not going to be moving very much. So a sniper, a lot of times, is going to aim and shoot. So, that white die with offensive surge, you have a really, really good chance of getting 2 hits, and then your opponent, if they don't roll 2 armors, your Pierce 1's going to knock out the 1 armor they roll. So you have a really good chance of getting that forcing that damage through. So again, this is not a huge shot, but they have these small shots. Now you can put the sniper in with either unit. I do think that the sniper works better on the strike team for the reasons that I just stated. It's a cheap way to get a sniper out there. You can drop them wherever you want. You don't have to worry about too much, and you're not going to move them, because the thing is, the Commandos, you're spending a lot for Rebel Commandos, and they have a black die at up to range 3, which is not bad. They have a good gun. And your sniper unit is usually going to be far in the back and not shooting. So you're kind of wasting. Like if you were to drop a full Commandos unit with a sniper in there and keep them in the corner of the map, that usually means that all the rest of the Rebel Commandos are not going to be shooting each turn, and they're kind of going to be wasted. It's not really the most efficient use of your points. There are some objectives that can reward you for doing that. If you're able to put an objective up on a tower and you climb up, then maybe you want all these other guys to hold the objective in case somebody rushes you. I could see this maybe being a good thing when we get some more of the melee heavy units like the Wookiees and stuff like that. You might want some closer range defense besides just the sniper. But for now, I definitely think the strike team is the better option for the sniper. The only other option I think for using them with a full unit of Commandos is the fact that you're going to be able to split fire. So if you do take your unit right into the middle of the battlefield, then you can split fire. You'll have 2 different weapons, and splitting fire is not a bad way to put out lots of suppression as well. Although you're kind of sacrificing some of the opportunity of having infinite range on a sniper if you jump him right into the middle of all of the enemy units, then you're really not taking advantage of that. So, which leads me to the Proton Charge Saboteur. The heavy weapons I kind of prefer out of the 2 of these, although they are specialized. So the Proton Charge Saboteur costs 26. He has the ability to arm a Proton Charge, which means to drop a Proton Charge within distance 1. So he has to place it somewhere where it could also hit him. And then he ideally, hopefully, then you can move out of the way before you blow it. But he also gains Detonate 1 for a Proton Charge, and Blast and Impact. So I like this guy a lot. So what Detonate 1 means is that after any unit does an action, he can detonate one of these things. Any unit. That means even arming the charge is an action. So you can arm and detonate right away. And detonate is not an action. That's a free thing that can happen at any time. So one of the things you could do is you could drop the charge, move away, and detonate. Or just drop the charge, move away, and then save it and wait for more units to come into the sweet spot. So this charge has Blast and Impact 1 and Surge to crit. So it's a good, it's rolling a red and 2 white. So 3 dice. Blast, so it's going to ignore cover. You can spend dodge tokens, though, apparently. And it's got Surge to crit. Now, Surge to crit makes white dice actually kind of nice, because they have just as much of a chance at hurting armored vehicles that any other die has. But now also Impact 1, gives you a really good chance of at least doing 1 damage to a vehicle. You're probably going to get at least 1. You're not going to get any rerolls on these. But one of the things you do get is you do get to attack every unit when it detonates within range 1. So that's pretty nice. Or every unit at range 1, not within. You could have a hard time fitting lots of units fully within range 1. But yeah, it's nice to be able to to attack all of the units. So one of the things that's kind of fun to do is you can take this guy. If you have he's kind of like the answer to huge groups of core, like, oh, I'm running 6 units of stormtroopers, and they're all going to go for the middle objective. Okay, well, I'll drop my 1 saboteur, and hit all of them. So that much is nice. So where do they go? Well, if you've only got 1 unit or 1 expansion, and you have your sniper on your strike team, well, then obviously you want to put the Saboteur on your Commandos, the full Commando unit. And they work kind of better that way anyway because of 2 reasons. First off, you really want your Saboteur getting close down onto the battlefield where the action is going to happen. And that's where a full Commandos unit kind of shines, because you have all these dudes that can shoot their guns. That's what you want. But not only that, you might not even be shooting that much, because you're probably going to be arming charges. You want enough health in the unit because you're going to be right in the middle of the battlefield. You're going to be getting shot. People are definitely going to try and kill your Saboteur. And since you choose the mini that dies, as long as it's not your leader, that means you're going to have at least 3 extra hit points before your Saboteur has to die. So by running a Saboteur and a full unit of Commandos, that gives you a lot of extra health. And it also gives you a better chance to do the suicide bomb, where basically you just move forward, arm a charge, detonate it right away, and hopefully hit more enemies than you're hitting of yourself. The idea there is like, oh, well, on this turn, you happen to have 4 guys close together, and this is my opportunity, so I'm going to run in there, detonate the charge, I'm going to hit 4 of your units, and I also am going to hit myself too, but it's worth it because I'm going to hit 4 of your units, and give suppression to 4 of your units, hopefully, unless I roll all blanks. And it doesn't really matter the suppression you give yourself. For 1, you've already gone, and for 2, you have courage value of 2, so that's awesome. So the Saboteurs work really well on a full unit. But I also like Saboteurs on a strike team. Why? Because I can run 3 of them at a reasonable cost. Now, this is a reason that you might want to get 3 of these expansions. I have 2 at the moment, and I would like the idea of getting a 3rd. So why? So, first off, having 3 strike teams means you have 3 Saboteurs, which means you can drop 3 charges per round, potentially. And over the course of 6 rounds, 3 times 6, 18, you can drop 18 charges on the map, potentially during a whole game. You're probably not going to get that many. However, you could, and that's awesome. So what else can you do? You also have the ability to detonate 1 per Saboteur. So if you do get a whole bunch of charges in the middle of the battlefield and your opponent finally decides, all right, screw it, we're going to take everybody through. Well, if on a sweet spot, maybe that ATST goes through while a couple of stormtroopers are still close, I can detonate 3 at a single time, because this guy activates detonate, then this guy activates detonate, then that guy activates detonate. Assuming I have 3 charges there, that we're all in range. And if you're really kind of peppering the battlefield, you may have quite a few in range. But also is redundancy, because one of the things you technically, your charges stay for the whole game. But if you only have 1 Saboteur, and they're on a strike team, for example, or even if they're on a full unit, if you only have 1 Saboteur and they die, you no longer have detonate. So how are you going to blow those charges? The charges effectively have no use. But having multiple Saboteurs, and the easiest way to have lots of them is through strike teams, you have some redundancy. So you could even just send 2 forward and keep 1 kind of far behind, and have the 2 arm the battlefield really, really well, and have the other one just kind of as your anchor in case those other 2 die. You still have 1. You still have detonate 1, which means you can only detonate 1 charge at a time, but at least you could still detonate them. And of course, every action gives you the opportunity to use detonate. So it could be like somebody moves, detonate, and then they shoot, detonate, and then the next person goes, detonate. You could keep detonating, but it's nice to be able to do more than 1 at a time. But the most important thing is at least having an extra detonate 1 once you've got a lot of charges set. Running only 1 Saboteur is hard to do, and you're going to really run out of points really quickly if you're doing 3 Saboteurs in full Commando units. I mean, that's fun, but that's going to be very expensive, and you're not going to have a whole lot of points left over for other things. So by running 3 Saboteurs with Strike Team, that totally works. Now, let's talk about 3. If you do buy 3 of these, you're also going to have the option to run 3 Snipers with Strike Team, which is really, really nice. But there's a hard counter for that, and that's Leia. Because she can just be like, oh, 2 to you, boom, 2 to you, boom, 2 to you, boom. She could potentially totally kill them on turn 1. So that is nuts. So that is the Rebel Commando. That's just basically some ways to outfit those, the ways that you could do them. If you're thinking about running 3, there are some cool ways to min-max that way. But the value is so great here. You really, if you just need 1 because you're still getting 2 units. That way you're getting 2 special forces, enough to really kind of make your lists a little bit more diverse. I also wrote an article about this on Crabbok.com if you want to check that out. Be sure to go over there and let me know what you think. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com, hop in Discord, and say hi to us there. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.